What?
All right, this is Ben Postwad, as he should be. All right, Ben, let's talk about the Paleo Challenge. What was the most difficult part of it for you?
Getting enough sleep. I think I got enough sleep maybe like 8 times, but the majority of the time we got docked for those points.
How are you working through that? Is that still a challenge? Do you feel like you've tackled it?
No, it's not going to happen for a while probably, since like starting my business and delivering meals and everything and just all the stuff that goes into that. And I've only got so many hours in the day, so I've got to choose between like working out, working, doing the business, and spending time with my wife. So sleep kind of falls low on the priority list.
Did you find that the nights you did get those full 8 hours, it made a difference?
Yeah, I definitely felt better the next day, for sure. But then again, like obviously it wasn't good enough to trade to save time for my wife, you know.
Absolutely. All right, what surprised you during the challenge?
I think how easily I became accustomed to things. Maybe not quickly, but like now, how after the challenge is over, there are still things that I want to do anyway that I'm keeping up.
Like what?
So I'm still standing up at my desk at work.
It's awesome.
Yeah, hopefully they'll order me like a permanent stand-up desk so I'm not standing with cardboard boxes stacked up anymore. I am not 100% with the water, but I'm definitely drinking a lot more than I used to. And just the eating. Like I had this whole list of all these meals I was going to go destroy once the challenge was over, and I haven't run to anything other than like ice cream twice, basically, which is weird because I never liked ice cream before the challenge. So I don't know, maybe I'm pregnant.
All right, well, speaking of food, and that would be weird if you're, that would be an interesting result. Tell us a little bit about your asthma story.
Okay, so this is probably why I haven't been running to all those foods I was listing out, like chicken biscuits and Chick-fil-A and everything. So I grew up with asthma, and now I still take an inhaler right before I work out, or if I get sick or something, but I don't take something like every day. I remember when I was like 13, my doctor mentioned to me briefly, or mentioned to my parents, like, hey, you guys might want to consider putting him on a gluten-free diet. It might help with his breathing. It was the late 90s, and I guess gluten-free wasn't a huge deal then, so they sort of looked into the food that had gluten in it, saw that I basically couldn't eat anything, and they were like, yeah, we're not doing that. So he never mentioned it again, so I didn't really think it was a big deal. And then going 60 days without gluten, except for that one cheat meal, a couple days after the challenge was over, I stopped and got a cake donut at Dunkin' Donuts. And about 5 minutes after I ate it, I noticed I was short of breath and I was reaching for the inhaler. And I kind of thought, that's kind of weird. I don't know if that was really linked. It's kind of like I'm trying to like trick myself, basically, like, no, it's fine. You can totally just eat that crap. It's okay. And then about 2 nights later, I had 2 cookies. And again, like a handful of minutes later, I was short of breath and had to reach for the inhaler. And I was like, wow, okay, so gluten is really not good for me. And I mean, the stomach, the digestion issues, whatever it causes, I can get over that, that's okay. But I mean, breathing, I'm not gonna mess with that, you know? So I'm definitely opening my eyes to some like real long-term changes I might be making.
Well, on that leads us perfectly into the next question. Thinking of all your different results, and we're talking, your BMI, your inches, your, maybe weight loss or muscle gain, the times of your WODs. Pick your top 2 favorite results, and why are those your favorite results?
I can see my abs now. That's a result that I like. I think that's awesome. And I don't know that I was necessarily expecting it because I wasn't working them out super hard. But I remember one of my buddies as a trainer was saying before, like, abs are made in the kitchen. And you can see that for real now. And the other one is, and I wasn't necessarily super expecting it, shaving time, so much time off of my 800 meter. I started out at 312 and wrapped up at 250, which is another big surprise for me just because having asthma growing up, like I never ran before. But I'm also coming from like no fitness background whatsoever, so I literally did my intro, my on-ramp to CrossFit before Christmas, took like 3 weeks off and ate horribly over the holidays, and then started CrossFit with this challenge basically. It's like my second WOD ever after the intro was barbell.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All right, let's talk. How do you describe how you used to feel like energy-wise before the challenge and how you feel now?
I don't know about all the time, and it would be hard for me to gauge just because I know I'm getting probably like 6 to 6.5, maybe 7 hours of sleep on average. I think if I was getting more sleep, it would make a bigger difference. But where I can see the difference is after mealtime. I don't feel completely drained, like I'm gonna pass out after lunch every day. I don't feel bloated anymore after I eat, which is pretty awesome. So definite big positive changes. And I mean,
I don't know what's happening right now, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
I would say I ate like 80 to 90% paleo before this anyway, but I never, other than one time, I never went without gluten for like an extended period of time. I'd have like one cheat meal in a week, or like a cookie here or something like that. So it's made a big difference just completely getting it out of my system.
And that leads us perfectly in our next question. How have you changed the way you look at food?
I eat breakfast now, so I look at that as being important. And now I understand that fat helps me stay full and feel good versus anything that I would have gone to before, like, you know, any like breakfast, like biscuits and gravy or a chicken biscuit or something like that. It's not really fueling me. And like now I think I definitely judge food a lot more critically. Like I never realized how much sodium was in everything. Like if I go out and eat at all, it's almost impossible not to get a salt cheat. Like it blew my mind after going out to eat. I didn't check beforehand, but I had to take a salt cheat one day. I went over 1,000 milligrams of sodium for the broccoli I had at like O'Charlie's or Outback or something. I'm like, it's broccoli. How does it need that much sodium? And I think that it's just because we eat so much processed food. There's so much salt to preserve all of it that people just get used to having really salty food, and you feel like you have to add a lot of salt to even taste the salt anymore because you kind of get immune to it. So after going so long without it, the other side effect of that is everything tastes really salty to me when I go out to eat now.
All right, last question. What behaviors will think of the behavior list that we had on the checklist, sleeping or vitamins and all of that stuff. What behaviors will you continue as a lifestyle change?
I'm definitely going to continue the standing up at work. I like that one a lot. I like the 2 midday moves, but I'm already seeing those drop off a little bit. So I think it's mainly just looking into what I'm eating more carefully when I'm out. And yeah, probably the serious long-term consequence is going to be seriously considering eliminating gluten completely, just from the breathing aspect.
All right. Thanks, Ben. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you guys.